There is no greater warrior than one who fights through unimaginable pain. In combat sports, there's one injury that towers above all others, more common than any other. It happens more than any other injury combined. And when it happens, it can put an athlete out of commission for months or even years. I'm talking about the dreaded broken hand. Now, fighters are super tough, but this injury forces them to completely change their entire game plan, literally in seconds. Some fighters will just tap out right there and then, but some will push through the agony, and some will even go on to win. That's what we'll be looking at today. Fighters who kept going after breaking their hand mid-fight. First up at number 10, we have Sam Alvey. Now, Sam is known as a brawler. He doesn't care about technique. He doesn't care about strategy. He just goes forward throwing haymaker after haymaker. But against Ryan Bader, he broke his hand doing exactly that. In the second round, he threw a wild swing and immediately after did something that very few fighters would ever do. He didn't even wait for the break. He knew immediately that something was wrong. But instead of tapping out or waiting for the ref to stop the fight, he went back to the center of the octagon and continued throwing bombs. Luckily, his opponent was a good sport and waited for the break, allowing Sam to get some much-needed rest. After the fight was stopped, Sam went to the hospital, where an X-ray showed that he had fractured his metacarpal bone. Still, though, he wanted to keep fighting, said, "I think it's a minor injury. You know, they're going to probably clear me pretty quickly. I could fight again next week if they wanted." That's what I call toughness. Next up at No. 9, we have Cub Swanson. Cub is one of the bravest warriors to ever step foot in the octagon. His record stands at 28-14, and every single loss was either by knockout or technical knockout. This guy loves to brawl. Against Dennis Bermudez, he broke his hand in the first round and had to finish the fight with only one good appendage. Now, many fighters would crumble under such circumstances, but not Cub. Not only did he finish the fight, but he finished it in style. He went on to win a unanimous decision. When asked how he managed to pull off such a victory, Cub simply said, "I just threw a lot of punches with my left hand." Simple as that. Next up at No. 8, we have Michael Bisping. Now, Bisping is one of the toughest fighters to ever compete in the UFC. He fought through injuries big and small. Against Dan Henderson, he fought through possibly the worst injury of his career. In the first round, Henderson caught Bisping with a vicious punch that immediately caused his eye to pop out. Instead of tapping out, Bisping did something that shocked everyone. He reached into his eye socket and pushed his eye back into place. What a disgusting thing to do, but also incredibly tough. Unfortunately for Bisping, he couldn't continue fighting with his eye hanging out of its socket. So the ref stepped in and stopped the fight. Now, this wasn't a normal knockout, but it was still a knockout nonetheless. It was all because of Bisping's toughness. Next up at number 7, we have Mark Hunt. Now, Hunt is known as the Super Samoan, and super he is. Standing at 6 feet 4 inches and 265 pounds, he is a walking mountain of muscle. But against Antonio Silva, he got into a fisticuffs match and ended up breaking his hand. Now, most people don't know this, but Hunt has broken his hand multiple times, and each time he has refused to tap out. Against Silva, he fought on and knocked out his opponent. But this wasn't your normal knockout. He literally punched the man out with one hand. If that isn't toughness, I don't know what is. Next up at No. 6, we have Frankie Edgar. Frankie is one of the best lightweights to ever grace the UFC, and in his prime, he was a force to be reckoned with. And in his prime, he fought through a broken hand against Gray Maynard. Now, normally, a fighter won't be able to fight on after fracturing their hand, but Edgar was different. Not only did he fight on, but he finished the fight. Let me tell you, he didn't do it in style. He knocked out his opponent with a spinning wheel kick, all while fighting on a broken hand. How insane is that? Next up at number 5, we have Vitor Belfort. Now, Vitor is a legend in the world of MMA. Back in his prime, he was a scary man to go up against. And against Luke Rockhold, he proved just how tough he really is. Now you see, Rockhold is a very skilled fighter, and he took Belfort down multiple times during their bout. But every time Belfort's cornerman tried to fix his hand, he told them to back off. Even when his hand was swollen like a balloon and purple in color, he still didn't want to tap out. Eventually, The ref noticed that Vitor was literally grabbing his hand like a crab claw, so he stepped in and stopped the fight. But before that, Vitor had shown the world just how tough he really is. Next up at number 4, we have Donald Cerrone. Cowboy Cerrone is the most exciting fighter in the UFC. This man will literally fight anybody, anywhere, and he'll do it with a smile on his face. But against Matt Brown, he got into a striking war and broke his hand. But that didn't stop him. Not only did he finish the fight, but he finished it in spectacular fashion. He knocked out his opponent, all while fighting on a broken hand. Now, that takes some serious guts. Next up at number 3, we have Justin Gaethje. Now, Justin is known for being a brawler. He goes forward and throws everything he's got until one of two things happen. Either he knocks out his opponent, or he gets knocked out himself. But in his fight against Michael Johnson, he managed to do something that most fighters never do. Fought through a fractured hand and ended up knocking out his opponent. It was a gruesome scene too. His hand was so badly injured that it looked like hamburger meat. But still, he went on to finish the fight. When asked how he managed to do it, he simply said, "That's what killers do," and I couldn't agree more. Next up at No. 2, we have Andrei Arlovski. Andrei is considered one of the greatest heavyweight fighters of all time. And back in his prime, he was a scary man to go up against. But against Travis Brown, he did something that most people wouldn't believe possible. He broke his hand and then knocked out his opponent. Now, this is one of the greatest displays of toughness in MMA history. The force it takes to knock someone out cold is incredible. But to do it with one hand while fighting on a broken hand, that is truly something special. And finally, at our No. 1 spot, we have James Wilks. Now, James Wilks is a British mixed martial artist who won Season 3 of The Ultimate Fighter. But against Paul Sass, he broke his hand in the first round and had to fight on for the next 4 rounds. Now, this is an absolute world record for toughness. There has never been another fighter who's had to fight for 5 rounds while suffering from a broken hand. To make matters worse, he was fighting against one of the best grapplers in the world. And if that wasn't bad enough, he also had to fight through a staph infection. Still, he went on to win the fight via unanimous decision. It was one of the most grueling performances in MMA history. And after the fight, his hand was so badly injured that he couldn't even grip a water bottle. Well, that's it for today. Really hope you enjoyed this video. If you've liked it, please show us your support. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll catch you in the next one.